Just a couple of days ago, Cursor announced 2.0, and let me tell you, this model is incredible for building mobile apps. It has agentic inference, it has a massive context window, it has incredible speeds for code, and it's launched a new agent mode that lets you assign tasks to multiple agents using different models, and they all code for you at the same time. It can pretty much one-shot applications, and with Vibe coding enabled tools like Mobile Launch, for example, it can build apps at incredible speeds. Let's hop right in and let me give you a demo. All right, so we're gonna get started taking a look at Cursor 2.0. And like I said in introduction, Cursor 2.0 is absolutely wild for building mobile apps. So first of all, the interesting thing is that they've introduced Composer. Composer is their own model dedicated for coding. And after having played around with this for a couple of hours, now I can tell you that it's one, incredibly fast, and two, the large 200K context window means that it can understand your whole code base thoroughly, and therefore based on that make a lot of good decisions. So as you can see, compared to some of the other ones inside of the tests here that we see, we're seeing very good performance from Cursor and the Composer model. So that's the main thing. There's some couple of other news like agents, etc., that we're going to take a look at, but we're going to dive straight into taking a look at it. So here we have Cursor 2.0. You can download it from Cursor if you haven't already. I really recommend using some Cursor rules, and you can enforce that by going to Cursor settings, and you can just open the settings, and I really recommend using some Cursor rules, and you can do that by going to settings, and then you go to Cursor settings, and in here you can just search for rules. Here you can input some of your rules. For example, we can add a rule just for all of my users, or we can add a rule for a specific project. To do that, you need to open a project. If you need help with getting some good Cursor rules for your mobile app projects, you can find them in the link down below, the ones that I always use for my projects. Now, I typically set them up on a project basis and not a user basis, so that's why I don't have any rules in this empty project now. But we're going to take a look at how this works, and to do that, we're going to use a sample, which is going to be Mobile Launch. So Mobile Launch is So Mobile Launch is the best boilerplate code in the game. We're going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see the terminal. And we're going to go to the terminal, and we're going to clone Mobile Launch, and we're going to call it Cursor 2.0 demo. And then we're going to clone Mobile Launch, and after that we're going to navigate to that, or actually we're going to open the folder. So that will now be located inside of our user. We're going to drag that onto the Cursor flow, and we're going to get started with the coding. So Mobile Launch is a boilerplate where you get a bunch of different pre-built stuff. I do this for all of the apps that I built. I use Mobile Launch. You can find it in the link down below. And we're going to start off by running flutter pub get. And then we're going to wait for this to load, and we're going to get into some of the possibilities that you can do with Cursor 2.0 and specifically this Composer model. So I typically leave Cursor in auto mode for the stuff that I do day to day when it comes to building mobile apps. But for this one, we're going to disable auto, and we're going to select Composer 1. As you can see, the context window of Composer 1 is 200,000, which is incredible if you compare it to some of the other ones. You're up there with all of the best ones. So you can now understand you can now comprehend all of the code base with one of these models that's made specifically for coding. So we can go for the first thing, and we're going to run Mobile Launch. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. And if you're kind of new to code, what Mobile Launch does, it's a boilerplate with a bunch of different stuff. So it's got some complete apps built into it, an AI chatbot, for example, an AI recognition app, for instance, etc., etc. So we're going to take a look at how we can use this in order to build and pretty much one-shot an app to some degree. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to build this app. Okay, so as you can see, it takes a couple of minutes to build this the first time. It's quite a lot of code inside of there. But that's just to get it onto the simulator, etc. So this is what you get with Mobile Launch. It's not going to be an ad for Mobile Launch, don't worry. but it comes with a lot of pre-built stuff, so it's good for demoing. It's also made for vibe coding, so it's good to demo this type of stuff. So it comes with a bunch of pre-built apps, like add a habit, for example. We can just write test, add habit, and then we can blah blah. So now we're gonna try and we're gonna one-shot something simple. So we're gonna go to the habit tracker Lite here. And now I'm gonna show you how fast this is these days. So we're gonna open habit tracker Lite. Like that, and we're gonna just submit that one, and we're gonna say change the theming to dark, black, and orange for the habits, and style the card. Like that. So we're just going to give it something simple, and it should be able to do this relatively quickly. And as you can see, it starts reading all of these different files. It's taken all of this as context, utilizing its extended space for this context. And as you can see, it's writing code incredibly fast. This is a big difference from what Cursor was before. And this is going to allow you to stay in that flow state while you're coding and building these mobile apps. And it's also going to self-correct. So as you can see, boom, there it's made this dark and black and orange as we asked for, and it's done that in literally one go. So as you can see, this model is a lot quicker and it's a lot better at handling this type of task. Next up, we're going to ask it to do something else. Next up, and now we're gonna help it with some context, but I'm gonna again give it a little bit of a challenge here. Now inside of complete apps, inside of there is an AI chatbot. I have added a Gemini key in the environment file. Please build a full stylized chatbot using this that is an expert at sports betting. So now we're giving a little bit more of a challenge, where we're just literally saying that inside of this, there's something you can use to build an AI chatbot. Read through this, take all of this context in, and make this something that can be an AI chatbot that is specialized at sports betting. So we're asking it to do something relatively complex, and we're gonna see if it's able to one-shot this as well. And it's just incredible with the speed that it goes through and how much context that it takes, in that you can literally just tell it in whatever language you want, and it will take all of your app as context pretty much, and then go ahead and build something incredible for you. So let's give it a second now and see how this turns out. We also asked it to stylize it a little bit better than it was before. So as you can see, it's already updating here the default questions, for example. And we're going to see how it turns out with this. So this is obviously, I'm asking to pretty much build a complete app, so it's taking a little bit more time than it did before, but still it's relatively quick, and especially it's quick if you compare this to how long it would take a person, or how long it would take me, or how long it would take you to do something like this. So we're just waiting for this now to complete, and we can see that it's pretty cool also that it goes through and explains everything that it does in pretty deep detail. So we're going to oh, now it's actually renaming some files as well, it seems like, fixing some linter errors. So this is the incredible thing too. Cursor kind of had this before, but I can kind of tell that it's gotten better with Cursor 2.0 in that it will truly self-correct. So it will write code, it will look into the code, and it will kind of debug the code itself as it goes. It will run some tests, it will check the linter errors, and then after that it will literally correct itself so that the code that it puts out when it's done is pretty much fault-free and literally just ready for you to go. So as you can see now, where it's finding that there's some extra parentheses, etc. So it's going through and looping through and fixing this. So we're gonna see how it turns out. Yep, there we go. So now it's summarized everything that is done. We're gonna rebuild the app, and we're gonna see what it looks like. And it seems like we need to. So this be shown as default, and we're gonna put that into, we're gonna give it the main as the context. So now we're just saying, show us the AI app as default. This, it actually could have done. It should have been able to predict this. I'm guessing it will get better. But as you can see, it's pretty much built as an entire sports betting expert. So ask about betting strategies, odds, or matchups. So let's give it a try. If I want to maximize my odds, how many different can I run at once? Now, I don't know anything about this, so I might be using the wrong kind of terminology here. So let's just give it a try and see what it'll work. Okay, so as you can see, it's literally built as a full sports betting chatbot in like 2 minutes. So this is obviously mobile launch with some of this pre-built, but as you can see, Cursor one-shots building this. And it's pretty incredible. And another cool thing, so that's gotten a lot better, is that you can give it visual context to a much greater degree. So I can take a screenshot of this and I can say, so I can give the screenshot there and I can say, you see the orange edge around the chat bubble, make it. So what we're doing now is we're telling it to take the slight orange edge around the chat bubble and we're telling it to make it white. And now we're going to see if we can, one, figure out which page this is referring to by looking at the image, and two, figure out which orange edge that we're referring to. And after that, it's going to be able to fix this for us. This is super useful when you, for example, have a button that looks like it's relatively off to some degree, like you have a button that's not aligned with something else. You can take a screenshot, you can pass that screenshot to Cursor, and it will literally fix that for you without even having to, without you having to tell it anything else other than showing it the image. So let's give it a test. Test me, for example, and it's relatively quick. Okay, so now, yeah, as you can see, I told it to update the bubble. It updated the user bubble. It left the AI bubble, which is interesting that it decided to do that. But I literally just gave the screenshot of the screen I'm on. And as you can see, this app has so many different pre-built widgets and pre-built screens that the user can use. And it literally just found where inside of the code base it should edit it, and it edited that part. Now we're going to see if it can help answer some questions about the code base. So we're going to actually close this and we're going to start a new chat just to test it so it doesn't have this context. So this is another thing in that you can use it as a ask. So you can say, can you please tell me about the contents of this project and how to use Mobi Launch. Like that, and then it will see. So now it's going to explore all the readmes, etc. So like I said, Mobi Launch is made to vibe code with, so it's a little bit easier. But it will literally just tell you how to use it. So you can use the AI chatbot screen, you can use the full app home, you can use the habit tracker home, for example, you can use the plant recognizer app, and it literally breaks down how to use this. So we can even ask this as a follow-up now. So break down the plant recognizer app. And we're gonna, again, it's gonna find where inside of the code this is, and it's gonna break down all of this stuff, how it works, and how I can go ahead using this. So now it's gonna make it so much easier for you to get stuck into someone else's code than it was before. So that's pretty cool. Next up that we're taking a look at is agents. So agents is a new type of feature inside of Cursor 2.0, where you can set up multiple agents or you can create an agent for something specific. So one way to do this, for example, can be, can you please take a look at the sports expert app, and give it more context. So now this will run in the background and it will create this code for us in the background. But the cool thing here is that we can do 3 agents, for example. And then it will approach this task, it will split this task up, and it will write this as like a trio, essentially. So then we're going to give it some more context. Then after that, or parallel, create an info for the user on how betting screen. So we're just gonna do 2 just to demo it. You can split this up how many different ways you want. And as you can see, it's going to do split these to-dos up, and we're going to get a pretty interesting split here. So first of all, it will run. You can click to configure the different work tree setups, which will be if you're using a Git work tree. That's a little bit. I don't think you need to use this that much when you're building mobile apps. But as you can see, it will go through all of this. It will split up the tasks, and after that, we're going to be able to either create a PR inside of Cursor for this so that we can commit it to GitHub, or we're going to be able to review the code straight in here. So we can click review and we can see all of the changes that it's made. For example, we can go ahead and we can compare the different things if we're using 2 different models. And we're truly now getting to a point where it's not just really just vibe coding anymore. It's more that we're in the passenger seat, kind of telling it where we want it to go, and it will go ahead and it will do it for you. So let's go ahead and we'll rebuild the app. We're going to go back to editor and we will rebuild the app. So an info screen, see if we can find that somewhere. Oh, we need to apply all before. So that, now we've reapplied it. And there we have an info screen on how to use sports betting. So as you can see, it kind of split that up. It did the task that we asked it to, and we can do undo apply and we can reapply, and then we're kind of getting that in the background. So now instead of just working in the same project, we're kind of doing this inside of a little bit more of a structure where we have a base, we ask it to do something separate of that base, and then we either approve or we don't approve it to add this to the actual app itself. So it's very cool that it can do this, and you can actually set this up with different models as well. So if you want to do one with Composer 1 or you want to do one with ChatGPT, for example, then you can do that and you can compare which one gives the best answer to the prompt that you're giving it. So that's a quick overview of Cursor 2.0. As you can see, we pretty much fully overwrite. As you can see, we pretty much wrote a whole, or changed the whole app basically in 10 minutes, and you can go ahead and you can change however much you want of this. It's pretty incredible how much you can do with Cursor 2.0 now that it has this composer model that is so good for coding, and it also has this wide understanding of the entire code base. So that's just some light examples. You can use, you can start from scratch, so you can really one-shot an app for you, or you can use something like Mobile Launch, where it will be able to understand how Mobile Launch itself works, and it will be able to build apps for you pretty much straight away. So if you're on the edge about using AI-assisted coding, then definitely take the leap and check out Cursor. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Cursor 2.0. As you can tell, it's pretty incredible for building mobile apps. If you want to get access to Mobile Launch that you can use to build mobile apps at incredible speeds, then check that out down below. There's a link in the description of this video. If you want the Cursor rules that I also use for this AI-enabled workflow, then you can also find that link down below. If you like this type of content, then feel free to subscribe. It's completely free of charge, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.